Now, China's temporary media laws, designed to give greater freedom to foreign journalists during the Olympics, are set to expire on Friday. So far, the Chinese government has given no indication that it plans to renew those laws. And that means the reporters may once again have to ask permission every time they want to leave Beijing. Melissa Chan reports now from China's capital.
It was one of the simpler stories Al Jazeera has done in China, about a little girl and her life out in the countryside. We spent the morning with her, asked her what her favorite subject in school was, a look into the life of an ordinary child. Hardly political, hardly meant to ruffle anyone's feathers. But local officials were tipped off that we were in the area. Foreign journalists. Why were we here? And what were we up to? Before we knew it, they'd shut the gates at local party headquarters so we couldn't leave. And we ended up staying there for the next 3 hours. Reporting in China is always a touch-and-go affair, even over the last 2 years, after the government rolled out a set of Olympics-related regulations that guaranteed reporting freedoms for foreign journalists. On the ground, laws didn't seem to matter much sometimes.
The biggest problem was whenever an issue came up that the Chinese government did not want free reporting on, our access either dried up, reporters were detained, were not allowed into problem areas.
Our news crews often encounter no problems filming on Tiananmen Square, but then when we least expected, someone might panic, perhaps a local official dealing with the unfamiliar, not sure what to do when Al Jazeera shows up. During this year's Sichuan earthquake, China was commended for its transparency, allowing reporters free access. But what most of the world doesn't know is that for the first 72 hours, before the central government had made up its mind to allow open coverage, the situation on the ground was not easy.
They're trying to take the camera off of us right now, physically, by force. They won't let us film tens of thousands of people.
Other times, we wouldn't be directly stopped, but would instead face intimidation. These plainclothes officers snapped a picture of our car's license plate and stayed nearby as we reported outside a human rights activist's home. Still, in our travels around China, it has helped to know that the law, at least, was on our side.
Having a regulation that in theory allows correspondents to travel anywhere they want to and interview anybody who's willing to be interviewed works in our favor, and I think that's a very important advance.
The Foreign Ministry says they continue to welcome foreign journalists to report in China. But covering China will be a lot more difficult if the government doesn't make clear what we can and cannot do legally in this country.